Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attacker Productions. Today I Bank RP joined once again by Jimmy, Trevor, and like always, Fluff.
Why do you sound so happy?
Hello.
What up, beautiful people?
I sound happy because... Alright, so today's matchup is Fluff versus Trevor. We have Fluff bringing back yellow Gotenks, while Trevor's bringing back Majin Buu. This is the green variant. It's a little fuzzy on my end for some reason. I think it's because the video is just in play mode. But let's get into it. Hope you all enjoy. And like I said, there's buttons down below.
Yeah, so this is the same Green Boo that I've played like several months ago. And I think this is the same Gotenks that Fluff has been playing for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no changes. It's exactly what it was last week.
So, Trevor, you come when you get a chance. Did you know we were kind of doing a bigger event this weekend?
I think I asked it earlier in the week if it was store champs or if it was pre-release, and the answer I got was we don't have any new product yet. So, like, yes and no, I guess, in a way. It honestly wouldn't have changed, but I played anyway. I'm kind of... The way I'm approaching the game now is I just go to play whatever archetype sounds fun that night. If I win, cool. If I lose, oh well. It helps keep my mental state with the game in a healthy place to where I can just, go play cards with friends and have a good time and see what they play.
Yeah, because I felt like it was like a mixed for this night, because it was kind of the pre-release. We were able to do a bigger thing. It was still a best of one, so we got a lot of people bringing out like their favorite and best decks, and a lot of people just bringing decks they wanted to play from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that's about right. Unlike Fluff, he had to bring his A game and play good yellow cards.
I actually thoroughly enjoy this deck. It might be that it's like good yellow stuff and might be a meta deck. I mean, the leader's not, but the rest of the deck certainly is. But I thoroughly enjoy the way this deck plays. So, not being able to build anything over the course of the week, this just seemed like the go-to.
Well, real quick, knowing that fact, I want to point this out ahead of time. Fluff does forget autos on this leader.
I don't think that's fair to say that I forget leaders on like autos on this leader. This leader has one of the hardest conditions to remember of any leader that I've ever played, especially when you're in the moment of trying to get in with battle cards, you're trying to combo, and your opponent's also comboing. You're focused on other states of the game. It's really difficult to remember to hit this leader.
And I will say to that, there is a level of where you do tend to jump a lot of decks like I do, just kind of like bouncing around just to make new things for the channel. I do understand where that confusion can happen with this leader a lot too, because I forgot that it wasn't last week. You learned that it does tap a card, I think what it was, right?
Yeah, actually was yesterweek years old when I realized that leader even did that. So, the old motto, read your cards, know your plays, definitely applies when going to this leader. And I'm actually looking forward to next set, the pool of leaders not being nearly as strenuous for remembering autos and stuff like that.
And Trevor, I haven't played Boo really at all. Do you put a token underneath that card as part of its effect or something?
I just did that to try and denote that it has revenge from the Vegito Unison.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Its effect is Union absorb a card from underneath the leader on the 1-drop, play the 4-drop from either your deck or your drop area. And then it has a Spirit Boost 1, play a Majin token. And then it has that permanent where if it would be removed by a skill, remove the Majin token instead. Otherwise, it's literally just a 15k beater that plays another 15k beater, if you want to think of it in simplified terms.
And
So,
real quick, Jimmy.
Go on, Bancroft.
I was going to ask, you did the +2 before you did that? Because you could, it doesn't have blockers. I guess it doesn't really matter if it has revenge or not. I was wasn't sure. I typically, when I remember playing this particular unit, I always try to do that +2 at the very end of my turn as a reminder to give everything that beforehand.
I thought I just chose one card and gave it revenge.
I think if I'm correct, all your green battle cards.
Yeah, all green battle cards gain. Gain revenge.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I only have one green battle card in this situation anyway, so it's not a big deal. But that is definitely good to know for the future.
Yeah, but I was going to ask about this Unison. So you're in a Spirit Boost heavy deck. We got to play on this night as well. And you mentioned that you only run him as like an alternate Unison. Has there ever been a situation where you're able to get that -7 off? Because I think that -7 is one of the most broken Unison skills in the entire game, at least in my opinion.
So I've never been able to get it off. It's one of those situations where almost nobody will let you get up to that 7 marker or 6 marker because they'll know that you'll typically load one under it and then use the -7. So in my mind, it's there if it happens, but ideally, this deck focuses so much on Spirit Boost since it came out, whenever Spirit Boost did come out. And I feel like it uses Spirit Boost better than most other decks that try to utilize Spirit Boost do. Mm-hmm. Just from the ability to flood the field with those Majin tokens, the ability on the leader to suck up opponents' battle cards, gain their abilities. It just has a lot of actual power inside the Spirit Boost that is actually meaningful. So it's helpful to use this Unison because it's stronger than Bobbity Unison, and it gives +2. That's the issue with a lot of Spirit Boost options is they don't give +2, so you're just kind of going neutral. But with this, you can end up still gaining markers slowly over time.
Yeah, Spirit Boost is a skill that I would love to see get not exactly an overhaul, but more support. Make the stuff a little bit more meaningful overall. Because I do agree with you. I think this is the deck that uses Spirit Boost the best out of, we got an entire set of it. So I'd really like to see Spirit Boost because I think it's an interesting mechanic. It makes a little bit more interaction with Unisons. It makes Unisons a little bit more valuable than they already were.
Did Majin Buu set come out at the same time with the Trunks, the Kid Trunks blue deck?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
I think so. Yeah,
because I really enjoyed that deck, and I feel like that was also a very Spirit Boosty deck as well. So I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I do like the idea of that, and I hope they go more into it. But at the same time, it's like if you have a user with this +1, you're less likely to do a Spirit Boost on that, though.
Exactly.
I do want to point this out, and I think it'll happen regardless in a couple turns. The Dormant Potential Unleash is, I think, up to, if correct, is it 2 or less? But regardless, it could hit the token as well as the battle card you hit earlier.
Yeah.
You just missed out the opportunity on that one, unfortunately.
It doesn't really change a lot of what happened. Because instead of swinging with the token, I would have just swung with the Bergamo.
Yeah.
And tried to clear out his token, so.
Yeah, ruling on tokens and their energy cost is just so weird. I feel like it would do a lot for newer players just to have tokens just have a 1 energy cost. I feel like it causes way too much confusion on what cards can touch tokens, what can't, why it can, why it can't.
Yeah, if it's up to, it hits tokens. If it's a number or down, it doesn't, if correct.
Yeah, so the way it's ruled is that tokens have no energy cost at all, not a 0, but none at all. So if you can add up to a number, you can choose a token because it adds nothing to the total number. Where if you have to choose one with a energy cost of X or less, you can't choose a token because it doesn't have an energy cost.
Yeah.
So you're basically, when you're choosing up to, you're adding a number that doesn't exist to a card that allows you to add number or choose to add up to. So it's just really confusing. It's one of those like card gameism type things that just I think is just poorly worded and poorly thought out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But token decks are so rare that those situations never come up.
Like I've seen Trevor in the past, I think get like at least 3 or 4 of the Majin Buu tokens with this deck.
Yeah. And that's all due to a spirit boost. Hey, let's put more fucking spirit boost on cards. That shit would be dope.
Yeah, I think in mine and Jimmy's matchup this night, I got 3 at once on my last turn, and it was just it was a rough turn. But
Yeah, that shit's scary, bro.
Turles All Too Easy, of course, doing mad work as it always does.
Yeah, that felt like a good swing there. I really appreciated what that had to offer. So,
now you've used a Ruban, already once this match. Knowing that Fluff has potential to just draw a ton, was it just trying to just reduce what he had in hopes that it would just accidentally get rid of good cards?
It was one of those situations where if what was in my hand wasn't warranted to use the 2 energy for on his turn or my turn, so it's just one of those, this is my best play that I have available to me, so I'm going to use it.
And it's never a bad idea to do it. I just know decks that like to draw a lot, and you try to do some hand control. It either can work, or it's almost like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, in a good yellow deck, removing any cards from hand that are really good is always going to be a good play, in my opinion. So, especially whenever there's nothing else in my hand for me to do. So, if I can hit, obviously him putting extra cards into his drop area helps get Mecha Frieza live, but that's fine. It's going to be live regardless against Gotenks, so.
Yeah, I think just getting the information of what's going in the drop area as well is worth doing or spending the energy on.
This was a scary turn that Trevor's putting out here. I don't know what else he's going to be able to follow up with. He hasn't really spent a ton of his energy. And he ends up passing, I believe, with 2 open energy, so I'm automatically expecting that the Bupo is going to drop.
Because green needed that, didn't it?
It really didn't. So I'm trying to think here, and I figure that he's just going to automatically drop the Bupo as soon as I swing on the first swing here. I'm expecting that or another dormant potential.
And it looks like you got your auto off, so he did not have it. But you also went for a unison strike too, just to be, I guess, to be safe on that one.
Yeah.
And there it is.
And this is where I asked, do you have cooler? Because if he had cooler at that point, there's virtually no coming back from this board state with what I have in hand. So I was like, okay, we have a shot. But he plays this giant ball in response, which allows him to draw a card.
So, out of curiosity, why didn't you do it on the first strike, though? Towards the unison?
Because I wanted to see, not that Fluff usually makes these kind of blunders, but I wanted to see is after he swung with his leader and drew his card, if he would tap energy to play something that would cause him to drop below 3 energy. Because at that point, I knew Cooler would not be live. And I would know that he wouldn't have Cooler in hand at that point if he played a follow-up strong battle card to kind of swing into me. So that's kind of what my thought process was there, because I can lose a marker I'm going to use, and that's fine. I think I had another one in hand that I could load the following turn if I made it through the turn, but I wanted to make sure that just to see if he would tap himself lower than the required 3 energy for cooler, or cooler counter.
And going with the double strike there, just comboing up, which is enough.
Yeah, and he drew into that Turles off the giant ball.
Yeah.
So it was some top deck magic, but I think he probably would have had it regardless, just with how much card advantage he had in hand. versus me, even with the Buu topo tax.
I knew that if you got into your next turn, and we talked about that here, I knew if you had got into your next turn, the big 5-drop Boo was probably going to get dropped on me, or the big Unison was going to get dropped on me to completely just clear and blow up the field. So I felt the pressure to try and close the game out there. Thankfully, you didn't have a dormant potential plus a counter, which was really fortuitous for me.
And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Keep in mind, his buttons down below and on the screen while Fluff does the outro.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching. As always, read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. And as always, Fluff out.